all right, but we've got Texans competing in sport climbing, skeet, archery, weightlifting, swimming, of course. It's going to be a blowout.
I can't wait.
I'm going to try close to the Olympics to publish a list of everybody who is officially competing that's a Texan. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot. Okay, so mark your calendars, end of July. The Olympics are coming up.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think of that song.
Bum, 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 bum.
No, that's Jurassic Park.
That's all. Well, howdy, folks. You were listening to the Daytripper podcast, Talkin Texas. I was about to say Daytripper World Headquarters. Yeah, I was like, this is not. We're recording at the Daytripper World Headquarters, but it is July, and we're about to talk some Texas. Joining me on the couch, Daniel Meese.
Hey.
El Director, Dave the Daytripper. And we got some fun things in store for this. But off the top, let's shout out our sponsor, Don Hewlett Chevrolet. All right, so as many of y'all know, they're a great partner of the show. And a lot of y'all have had questions about buying new cars and trucks from Don Hewlett. And of course, they do all that stuff. They would love to sell you a vehicle. But don't forget, they also have a full service station center. This is not scripted. So, full service center for anything that might ever go wrong with either your Chevy or any of your other vehicles, or if you just need some tune-ups and maintenance. I know a lot of people are taking summer road trips now, so it's a good idea to go into Don Hewlett, get the vehicle checked out before you hit the road.
I think it's pretty smart.
What's that old saying? An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. You've heard this?
I don't know if I've heard that.
That's an old
that sounds really
saying,
old shit.
Like grandpa's. Yeah.
How about this? If you plan on driving out to West Texas this summer, get an oil change and tune up first. Or at least have it looked at.
It's better than breaking down in Ozona and trying to find a service station in Ozona, Texas. Shout out to Ozona, by the way. All right, so Don Hewlett is running a summer service event, big rebates all summer long. Learn more, donhewlett.com. Texas True, together. Let's drive. All right. So this summer, it's July. You know what's happening in July, Daniel?
It's getting hot.
Well, it's getting super hot.
But
what is happening in the world in July?
Ooh. Well, 4th of July in the world?
Yeah. They don't celebrate 4th of July.
Well, they should, but that's okay.
In Paris, the Olympics.
Oh gosh,
the Olympics are coming up. I keep forgetting.
How in the world did I forget that?
Yeah. Well, I think the world has forgot. I've been in a bubble. Like people keep reminding me, like the Olympics. Like what the huh? Oh yeah.
I think when you get older, it's like you're so focused on life and your job, making sure you can put food on the table for your kids.
Yep.
Some of these things aren't at the front of your brain,
right?
And
it's the Summer Olympics, but they don't start till July 29th,
and they go into like mid-August.
Yeah, mid-August. I remember this. I think it was the Beijing Olympics. I've got this one seared in my mind. We were in South Padre having like an end of summer hoorah, watching the Beijing Olympics with my kids.
That's cool.
And everything. So like I've got that sealed in my brain. They're always early August, I guess.
Yeah.
So anyway, they're coming back to Paris, and they'll be on NBC. Ding ding. What's
do do
yeah,
do?
That's but the Olympics.
That's the notes of the D chord.
What's there's an Olympic theme. If it's like seared in my brain, but I can't remember now. You got it?
No. It might come to me later.
The Olympic theme.
That sounds just like.
All right. Well, okay. Anyway, there's a new sport this year, and we may, as Texas, win this thing.
There's
a new Olympic sport coming to Paris in 2024. It is. Ready? Boop, boop, drop the beat. Break dancing.
No, it is not.
Yeah, we got Olympic break dancing. It's going to be the first year ever for this. And we have a Houston boy. He break dances under the name B-Boy Jeffro. His name is Jeffrey Lewis from Houston. You can look him up on Instagram, Jeffro Rad. And he's good. He's good.
Is that a sport?
I don't know.
I'm not dissing any of.
It's as much a sport as ribbon dancing or the hula hoop thing that they throw. You ever watch rhythmic gymnastics?
You can be an amazing dancer and do things that other people in the world can't do. But is that a sport?
Oh, it's a good question. Then there's fighting words to a lot of people.
I guess.
I mean, if you watch the break dancers, like the people who are really good at it, where they spin on their head and then pause it, and they're like standing on one elbow and like
one elbow.
Yes, it's wild. The athleticism the break dancers have, it's head and shoulders above some of the other junk that's already in the Olympics.
Oh, absolutely. I guess I'm just wondering, how do you judge one to another?
Well, like, how do you judge the floor routine of gymnastics?
Yeah, there's a point system.
You know,
I guess there's a way.
Yeah, how many cool spinny things does he do? How many? I guess they get to pick. Like, they're like, I'll be doing the Olympics to Beastie Boys, Run DMC.
They got to give them all the same song, and it's all like Britney Spears. Like, they should do something where you're like, what? I don't want to dance to this. Sorry, it's what you all get.
Well, yeah, everybody. Sorry, we drew it out of a hat. It was like
Celine Dion.
We put Spotify on random autoplay. You got to break dance to this.
Break dance to Celine Dion all by myself.
Oh gosh. So we were just in California. I'll talk more about that later. But like the street, we're on Venice Beach, and there was a break dancing troupe, street performers. They were awesome.
That was cool.
And they took a lot of people's money. Like, they set up this big finale and then paused forever and waited for everyone in the group to give them some sort of money. And I was like, this is pretty genius. But they were really entertaining. Yeah. It was good. And they were breakdancing, and some of them were like 11 and 12, and then grown men, and it was wild. It was wild. So I'll be watching breakdancing.
Those could have been Olympians.
They could. They could be. Nowadays, you can go be an Olympian at a lot of stuff.
I really thought you were going to say cornhole.
Cornhole would be awesome. I mean, have you ever turned on like ESPN 12 and they're doing cornhole?
ESPN the Ocho.
The Ocho.
Yes,
yeah.
No, and it's pretty crazy to watch.
Yeah. They're good at it. Yeah. But see, I can't watch bowling on TV. Like, I've tried. It's so boring. Sorry, bowlers.
Yeah.
Bowling on TV is just boring.
I feel the same way about golf, to be honest.
Yeah, golf
on TV.
Yeah, that's napping. That's perfect Sunday afternoon napping.
I could absolutely take a nice nap.
See, but there's people who watch every PGA event, and they're
Jim
like,
Flores.
Yeah, that's right. We have a DP that does it. Okay. All right, so we should have about 30 to 40 Texans that are competing in the Olympics. Sweet. I'm gonna give some shout outs. Fred Curley from Taylor, he got silver in the Tokyo Olympics in the 100 meter. He's still at the top of his game. He might be coming back. He's a 100 meter sprinter.
Okay.
He's a sprinter. Sha'Carri Richardson out of Dallas. She's like the fastest female sprinter in the world, 100 meters. Simone is coming back, baby.
I heard.
Scotty Scheffler, speaking of your favorite golf events, he's from Highland Park, also a Texan. Brittany Griner from Houston will be playing the b-ball. Kevin Durant is back playing basketball.
Really?
Which got me down this rabbit hole of like, do we consider Kevin Durant a Texan? He's like a Washington, D.C. boy. He spent 1 year at the University of Texas. He was a one and done freshman.
Here's the biggest question. I would ask him, do you want to be a Texan?
Okay, yeah.
And if he says, oh, yeah, I'm a Texan, and he means it, then I'd be like, okay, you're a Texan.
All right, okay. Yeah,
I think there's a mindset to being a Texan.
Okay, legit. That's valid. That's valid. Okay, so Kevin Durant, we'll let him slide. He was one of the best. He was one of the best Texas basketball players of all time.
Sure,
but we're gonna have to ask him.
Yeah,
go ahead and give him a call.
I'll ask
before the end of this podcast.
We'll get back to y'all.
All right, but we've got Texans competing in sport climbing, skeet, archery, weightlifting, swimming. Of course, it's gonna be a blowout.
I can't wait.
I'm gonna try close to the Olympics to publish a list of everybody who is officially competing that's a Texan. It's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot. Okay. So, mark your calendars, end of July. The Olympics are coming up.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think of that song.
Bum, 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 bum,
No, that's Jurassic Park.
That's all. John Williams did it.
John Williams did it. It's only for the Olympics.
Yep.
Alex, come on, man. You got to help us out.
Anything, yeah.
Play it right here.
Dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. I don't know. That's all. I can't think of it.
I know.
But man, if I heard it, it does
have the
instant.
Trumpets, though. Just like what you're doing.
It's got some trumpets. It's got some trumpets. All right. So fill people in. Daniel, what you been up to?
Oh my gosh.
Since our last podcast.
So obviously we've been swimming a lot. Mm-hmm. Nice hot summer. Always great to find a place to jump in the water.
You got a neighborhood pool.
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's a new neighborhood, so they're taking their time building that.
Oh, what?
Yeah, it's going to be finished by the end of May 2024.
Oh, good. That was
hopefully
they'll be done
a couple months ago.
Right.
All good.
Oh
no, gosh. We have a city pool. We have lots of friends and family with pools.
Oh, okay.
So,
dude, all the time in the world, man.
At this point, like when we go to our neighborhood and I see like the big pond, I'm like, I think I'm going to get my swimsuit and just jump in that thing. When it gets that hot, that's why we always say have a swimsuit with you when you travel. You
One of the rules of day tripping.
You never know.
Yeah.
I did do something pretty crazy though.
What?
I saw somebody in concert I've been wanting to see for a long time.
Oh, who is that, Daniel?
That would be the only Justin Timberlake. Dude. The one and only.
I'm just about to do Usher. That's not him.
You're off with your songs.
Way off on it today.
I'm bringing sexy back.
Yeah. How was that?
It was actually crazy. So that wasn't one that I thought would be as awesome as it really was. I'll admit something though. You already know this, but I regret when I was in high school that I didn't go see NSYNC when they were
yes,
huge.
We've had this conversation on the road for sure.
I know.
I was a freshman at UT when their No Strings Attached tour came to town, and some of my friends that are girls went, and I was like, no, man, I'm not going to spin. But like secretly, I was like, cool. I would want to go to that.
I know. Yeah. It's just they were so big at the time, and boy bands are mostly dying. You know, there's a few that are still huge, but at the same time, it was just kind of like right after that, I feel like that whole thing started going down, and now it's so nostalgic.
It is,
and so I'm thinking about these songs and things from the time, and I'm like, that would have been probably cool to see like a big NSYNC show
because it would have been their biggest show, probably.
Oh, absolutely.
I guess they had the dirty pop stuff after that, or was that? Yeah. I think it would have been.
I don't know enough. I know that like at the time I was like, I probably should have seen him. Well, no, at the time I didn't want to.
Question: did he do any NSYNC songs?
He didn't do any NSYNC songs.
Oh, no, bye. Come on.
Oh, no. See, I don't even know if he would or could.
Yeah, legally, does he have rights to do them?
Well, that was a huge thing with them. Like, I think they didn't make a ton of money compared to what they could have made because of the fact that they had a crappy deal at the time.
Oh, man. Okay.
So, I don't know. And he split off, did his own thing. Now he's a billionaire.
Was it mostly just him, like, entertaining the whole time?
It was only him. So, it started with a DJ. This was a little rough. Like, the show supposedly started at like 7. It didn't. It started at like 9:30. So we sat there in silence, and half the stadium wasn't even there. And I'm like, why does everybody know something I don't know? What's going on? Is he about to come out or not? It took him like 2 hours before he finally came out. But it wasn't even him. It was a DJ that came out.
Oh, no.
And it was like 45 minutes or so of a DJ and getting, kind of hyping the crowd.
Does he know how old his fans are?
That's what I was wondering.
We gotta go to sleep.
That's what I kept thinking that the whole time. I'm getting tired here.
These people, they're not in their 20s. Come on now. We're upper 30s and 40s now.
Yeah.
J. Tim's, you better know. Like you're not really going for the college crowd here. We're all old.
Although I will say there was a lot of younger kids that were there, and I was kind of surprised. I'm like,
oh really?
Yeah, he's still making new stuff.
My kids know who he is. I mean, the Trolls movie and stuff. They know who he is.
And he played those.
Oh, did he really?
We had 2 of our daughters with us, and they were freaking out. They loved it all. Yeah. The crazy thing with that show, though, it was like the screens and electronics, and
I bet.
I mean, he was flying around and doing crazy stuff. It was pretty cool.
I'm a little jealous I didn't go to that. That'll probably be one I'll kick myself after in a couple years. Dang it, I should have gone.
Well, by the time he comes back, he might be, with a walker.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows?
He's getting old. We're all getting old.
Yeah, that's true. It'll be the stool tour where he sits on the stool the whole time. It's Justin Timberlake unplugged, but it's really just because he has bad knees and he can't
He's
dance.
Unplugged because we had to unplug it.
Yeah, maybe. I did see, I guess he's probably still touring, but I remember my dad took me to a Neil Diamond concert when we were young. That dude didn't sing a single word to his music.
Was it all just talking?
Was like, Sweet Caroline. Y'all know what I mean, everybody?
Bum, 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 bum.
Good times never seem so good. Hey, am I right? Sweet Caroline. Or we're coming to America. On the boats, on the planes.
No.
We're coming to America.
That's horrible.
Just like didn't sing any of it. It was just talking.
I think this happens to all of us when we get older and we think about how cool like this, a singer or somebody was when they were younger. That's where they're all going to end up.
I know.
They're going to have to perform their whole life.
Yeah.
And that's what they do.
That's as much as glamour as we ascribe to that profession. Can you imagine, like, you're on tour 250 nights of the year. You're doing a 2-hour show, 3-hour show, singing, dancing for people over and over again. That's a grind that I don't think people realize how hard that is.
Absolutely. Well, he actually even had a part, Justin Timberlake, in his show where he was talking to the crowd and he did his, I love you guys. And you're just like, yeah, I'm sure this was planned. But then you actually listen to him and he's like, I grew up with y'all the same way y'all grew up with me. This is all I've ever known.
Okay.
And you're like, wow, he's probably telling the truth here.
Yeah.
Like Mickey Mouse Club or whatever, the Mickey Mouse Club when he was little, grows up and he starts singing with boy bands. Right. And the next thing you know, he's doing his own solo and doing movies and stuff. This is his life. That's all he's ever done.
J. Timmy.
So whether or not you like his music, it's just like, you got to admit, like, that's
the
hard.
Dude's a workhorse.
The grind.
Yeah,
he's
a workhorse.
That's something else.
Yeah.
So anyways,
I'm gonna be jelly. I am jealous. I am actually. So I did something we can't actually talk about.
Did you sign an NDA?
Yeah, I did.
Really?
I can talk a little bit about it. It's coming soon. So I got flown to LA to be part of to interview for a television show, not the Daytripper.
Yeah, and I know that part.
You know that part. But I can't talk about it publicly on the podcast, but something's coming soon. It was the hardest thing I've ever done in front of a camera.
Are you serious?
Because I had to talk about a topic and I couldn't smile or laugh or do anything that's the only thing I've ever done in front of a camera.
So don't be yourself.
Don't be yourself. The producer lady was like, okay, tell me again, but don't smile.
What?
I couldn't wear a hat. So they were like, no cowboy hats. So I had to go through hair and makeup. Yeah, hair and makeup. And then I get there and it's a 2.5-hour interview sitting with my booty in a chair, couldn't move and couldn't smile. Like,
what did you do?
I mean, I think I sucked at it. That's what I did. If this comes out and I'm not in it, I would not be surprised.
Oh my god!
Because it was like it was something for a television cable show, and it's coming soon. That's all I can say. But it was stinking hard because it was an interview about a topic, not about the Daytripper, and I just couldn't. But it was like, quit smiling, stop smiling. Now tell me again, but stop smiling. And then I would try to come up with these like clever things. They're like, oh no, say it again, but don't be hosty.
Don't be be yourself.
I was a quote unquote expert.
Oh, you were an expert. So this was something Texas related?
Yeah, it's got a Texas tie-in. That's how I got the job.
Okay.
But it was hard, dude. And so we did get to go to LA, and LA was beautiful. It was sunny and 75. Like it was
weather's always pretty.
It was as sunny as it is in Texas, but like 60 when we got off the plane it was 60 degrees. And then it got up to like 72. And we were walking down Venice Beach and everybody had their shirt off. And it was textbook California.
Wow.
I was like, I don't ever want to live in California, but I see why people do.
Oh, of course.
It was like the weather. People have houses without air conditioning in Southern California. That doesn't even, we can't even fathom that.
Doesn't make any sense. When you live in Texas, it makes no sense.
Can't even fathom it. All right, but we do love Texas.
We do.
We're not moving to California. I'll keep people up to date more as we get closer and they tell me I can talk about it, but it was one of those things. All right, so let's move on to all the crazy things that have been happening in Texas, not the 100-degree weather.
While you've been listening to this podcast, lots of stuff's been going on in the Lone Star State. This is Meanwhile in Texas.
Cool.
All right.
Well, did you find anything?
I did. Okay, so here is what I found in Meanwhile in Texas. So here in Texas, we have broken another record. You know, everything's bigger in Texas.
That's what they say.
This is our latest entry into the biggerest of things.
The biggerest.
It's like the Guinness Book of World Records is ridiculous. They have all these things. I mean, you can get records for all sorts of stuff. And now we own the record for the largest fruit display. Largest fruit display. Okay, so El Rio Grande Latin Market in Dallas, Texas, set up a single fruit display in their produce section for avocados.
Okay.
In that section, they brought in 301,000 avocados. That's over 86,000 pounds of them.
Oh,
and I was like, what is that even? My mind can't even fathom what that looks like. I found a picture. It looks like the ball pit times 2 at Chuck E. Cheese.
What?
But massive avocados. I mean, it was like, imagine going to H-E-B and they remove all the fruit stand. Like, there's no place to buy bananas or cantaloupe. It's just avocados. One massive pile of avocados. I'm like,
did they need that many avocados?
they've been working on this for 7 years to figure out how to get enough avocados to beat the world record.
Okay.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? So that's pretty fun. I was like,
Wow.
well, how in the world could they sell that many avocados before they go bad? And they were selling them. This is maybe the record breaker. 5 avocados for $1. Avocados can be like $2 each if you buy them at the wrong time. 5 for $1. Avocados on sale because they had to move all the stinking avocados. So anyway, congratulations. Another world record here in Texas. Super random. Dude, there's so many of these. We got to figure out what we're going to get. Like, we have to have a Guinness Book of World Records. They're so dumb.
Well, can we make our own?
I mean,
Maybe we can do one.
What do you think the longest podcast ever recorded is? We just have to.
Alex is shaking his head right now. He's like, can't do it. No,
I mean,
got
that's
plans.
something that takes no athleticism. You just have to sit in the chair and talk.
I mean, if it was the longest, it's probably still going.
It's got to be days, though, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
We got to find something.
Who?
Most to-go boxes of barbecue shoved into a truck. Like, we can drive. Like, we'll just go stop at 100 barbecue joints, fill our truck with to-go boxes, and drive around.
What if we did something where it was like most combined enchiladas eaten by 2 people?
Okay, I'm game for that.
With bathroom breaks. So then we can just tag team.
Yeah, tag team.
I'll go to the bathroom while you're eating, and we'll switch, come back.
I love enchiladas, and I love the enthusiasm. There's no way we could do that.
No.
There's pros that eat enchiladas for a living. We got to find something dumb.
It's got to, yeah. There's something out there.
We need help. Viewers, something, the Daytripper, we need some Guinness Book of World Records.
What can we do?
The Dude Perfect guys have like hundreds of them now.
Probably.
So we'll figure that out. Stay tuned. Next podcast, I'm announcing what we're going after.
Is it something we could do on the podcast? Because that would be cool too. We'll do it right here.
Yeah.
Everybody can watch, and then that's our world record. We'll make sure everybody knows.
Okay. Most cockroaches eaten in a single podcast. I mean, what could we have to, like, something you consume? I don't know.
Yeah, if you want to eat some cockroaches, I'm all about watching.
Oh, yeah. Well, if we're going to get the record, we all have to be involved. Alex even has to be involved.
Again,
all right.
Alex shaking his head.
Okay, what'd you find in Texas?
Oh,
What's
my gosh.
the story?
So I don't know if you've heard about this story, but there is a man who was fishing.
Okay.
We don't know exactly where, pinpoint exactly where, but we know it was on the Guadalupe.
Okay.
And what we know is that he caught something that you don't normally see in a river.
Uh-oh.
It was a bull shark.
Dun, dun, dun.
Did you see about this story?
I saw something, bull shark caught in the Guadalupe, and people were flipping out.
Yeah, well, if you watch the video, it's on TikTok, and people are like, yeah, that's probably fake. You know, he probably caught it, brought it with him, threw it in, reeled it, which is always possible. But here's what else is possible that's really creepy.
Uh-oh.
Bull sharks can live up to 4 years in fresh water.
4 years? I didn't know that.
They have no problem going back and forth.
I knew they could come upriver.
They can go upriver, and it's not uncommon for them to go like 200 miles in a day.
200 miles?
Yeah.
What?
And I think the Guadalupe is like 400 miles or something.
I mean, it goes way out
like
west.
hill country.
Kerrville, past Kerrville. West,
I think it's Kirk
Ingram.
County down to Victoria.
Okay.
County.
So when I saw that, I go, oh, he was right by the coast, and people don't know. Like, bull sharks can swim inland, but maybe he was further inland than I thought.
In the hill country.
Dun,
Who knows?
Dun, dun.
I don't think he was, but it did look kind of like Saguenish area.
Uh-oh.
You know, like it wasn't in Victoria.
Shoot. If you need another reason to have nightmares in Texas.
Yeah. I mean, I will say this. It was like maybe 4 feet. It was, that's actually big.
Okay, the bull shark was the
bull shark.
Okay,
it wasn't
smaller.
It wasn't a baby, but it wasn't like, I mean, these things can get up to 10 feet.
Yeah, it wasn't
or more.
10-foot one that bites people's arms off in Florida.
But it did look like it was at least 3 feet or so in the video.
Uh-oh.
So,
dude, let's make a version of Jaws, but it's tubers on the Guadalupe River.
Oh.
Da-da.
That's actually a great idea.
Okay.
Well, I tell you what, it definitely makes you think twice before you go tubing.
Yeah.
I mean, not to say don't do it, but I'm saying I'm going to be thinking nonstop. There could be a shark under me.
But if you're like in New Braunfels on the Guadalupe, those sharks would have to jump over like 5 dams in order to get there.
Yeah, and they said they actually do that just like salmon.
What?
They have seen
now
bull
you're
sharks
me.
jump upstream.
No.
I mean, that's how think about it. The river flows from natural springs down to the coast, right?
Yeah.
They're swimming upstream.
That's true.
And there are places where you would have to jump.
Done.
It's like a salmon.
Done.
Can you imagine seeing salmon, bull shark?
Oh gosh.
Oh wow.
That's awful. Man.
I don't know. I don't like. It's made me question everything I believe.
Yeah.
I will say that.
This segment is definitely not sponsored by the tubing outfitters that are trying to get people to the river.
The city of New Braunfels was like, we probably got to get ahead of this, and they released a statement.
Okay.
And they actually said, beware of potential sharks. They said, we haven't seen anything. Nothing's been proven, but you should probably be on the lookout just in case.
In case. Oh, how funny.
Yeah.
You think that we were joking, or they were like?
It could have been half joke,
maybe
but it
not.
was. I'm thinking it's kind of like, hey, just say something so we're not held liable for this.
That's wild.
Who knows?
Done.
Yeah.
See, I thought Jaws was only in, Martha's Vineyard in Cape Cod.
Remember, Jaws made it into a lake at one point.
Did he really?
Was
Are you
that
thinking
like
of
Jaws?
Lake Placid, that big alligator?
It was like
Piranha,
Jaws
the movie about
15. I don't know which one it was.
Okay.
Might have been the second or third one.
Freshwater Massacre.
He was in a lake because it was like at a SeaWorld type place.
Oh,
remember
gosh.
they had
he was in the tidal pool.
Yeah.
Wet and Wild. Oh my gosh.
That's
okay.
So there you go.
Be on the lookout, guys.
Be on the lookout.
Just be on the lookout.
It's not a warning, and it's just a watch.
Just a watch.
Watch.
That's funny. All right, let's move on into our Texas Music Minute. This is where we bring you guys an artist. Maybe you've heard of them, maybe you haven't. And kind of give you a song that you should listen to, or somebody you might want to listen to, look into. I was tempted to do Willie Nelson. He just released another album.
Another album?
At 90 years old. Yeah.
Wow.
It's like, I forget. I might do that next month. Willie's just a machine. Speaking of Justin Timberlake, Justin Timberlake's a little baby compared to Willie.
And he would say it too, I'm sure.
So, but other Texas machines that just don't quit. Did you hear this? George Strait broke a record at Kyle Field for the largest ticketed concert in U.S. history.
I heard that.
110,905 fans went to Kyle Field, packed it out. They started selling standing room only tickets to people because the demand was so high. Crazy. I was like, well, who had the record before? The record had been standing since 1977. When the Grateful Dead drew over 107,000 people to a concert in New Jersey.
Wow.
So George crushed Jerry Garcia and the Grateful Dead.
He is the king.
He's the king. He's king for a reason. But the show, Parker McCollum opened for George. And there's people who consider him, the next George Strait. We'll see. I don't know about that. I like Parker.
But to say that he opened for anybody, that should be huge.
But then there was another gal who opened for Parker.
Yeah.
And she is one of the rising darlings of country music, also a Texan, and that's who we're going to listen to.
All right.
So her name is Catie Offerman. She was born in New Braunfels on a horse farm. She started playing piano at 4. Then quickly learned guitar. Then she went on to learn fiddle, then accordion. And by 14, she was playing in a polka band.
By herself?
Yes.
Because she knew them all?
Yeah.
One girl band?
Right. We put the cymbal between her knees. Ching, ching, ching.
Golly.
She got older, went to the Berklee School of Music in Massachusetts.
Okay.
One of the best music schools in the entire country. Tried to go do some acting in Hollywood, decided that her heart wasn't in it, and she needed to be singing and writing on her own original music. And so that's what she's been doing. And her star is just rising quickly. And I thought, well, you know what? If the first time you heard about Catie Offerman was the Daytripper podcast, let's go.
Let's do it.
We're breaking out. We're the first to discover the future idols of this. Sure we are.
That's what we do.
So anyway, this is her song, Don't Do It in Texas. And I chose this song because it is like it's a bit of a homage, a salute to George. So if you're going to break up with me, don't break up with me in Texas. I don't want to be a Texas ex. All my exes live in Texas and everything. It's a cute song. And she's very good. She's traditional country music. And here it is. Catie Offerman, Don't Do It in Texas.
On your mind, I can read between the lines. This love ain't gonna fly, so gon' break my heart, baby, tear it all apart. Some things you just don't mess with. My only request is just don't do it in Texas. Don't do me that wrong. Don't wanna end up in Texas. Some old George Strait song. Yeah, just remember everything's bigger, and I couldn't handle a hurt that size. So don't do it in Texas if you're saying goodbye. Yeah, I could take.
All right,
There
I like
you go.
it.
Yeah,
I like it.
It's got a good two-step beat to it.
It does. And that, you know what? That was always one thing about that George Strait song that I was always like, man, why'd it have to be Texas? Because like he's talking about
all my exes. He can't go to Texas.
Yes.
All my exes live in Texas.
I'm like, you should have said that about Oklahoma. All my exes live in Oklahoma. Just saying. That's good. That was a great song.
It's a good tune. So stay keep your eye on Catie Offerman. I think she's going to be doing big things. I mean, beyond just being like a stupid talented musician, like she's writing some pretty good songs, and well, we'll see.
Cool.
We'll see. I mean, when you open to 110,000 people in Kyle Field to sort of
That's
near the beginning of your career, it's all downhill from here. Catie. No, maybe she'll be headlining her own someday. Maybe.
That's great.
Maybe. All right. Let's pause for our mid-podcast sponsor. Daniel, did you know?
No.
That we've had Olympians from Colin County.
You know what? Many things as I've heard about Colin County, nothing surprises me anymore. They're amazing there.
Former Olympian bobsledder, not Summer Olympics, but Johnny Quinn lives in Colin County, and he is the Olympian. Not only is he a bobsledder, so that's pretty cool. He played football for UNT. And then went on to have a brief pro career, but was really good at like brawn and pushing stuff. So they got in, legs like trees, got into bobsledding, right? But beyond that, he's the Olympian that famously got stuck in a bathroom in Sochi and had to punch his way out of the bathroom by breaking down the door. Yeah. So Johnny Quinn, a Texan that breaks his way out of bathrooms. He said, I had to read the story again, but he got locked in his bathroom, banged on the wall for a long time. No one was coming. And so he started really banging on the door till his fist just went through it. He was like, I'm breaking out of this thing.
Hey, you get once in a lifetime for most people.
That's true. So, and this is fun. He will be a featured guest at the Colin County History Museum's Olympic kickoff event, July 25th. They're hosting a big like Olympics kickoff party, and Johnny's going to be there.
I think instead of calling it a kickoff, they should have called it a punch through.
That's very good. Yeah. So y'all check it out. Mark your calendars. It's part of the Created in Colin County exhibit that is still going on there about all the cool things and people that came from Colin County. Added to the list, Olympians. It's awesome. Free museum, open on Thursday, Friday, Saturdays. Learn more at ColinCountyHistoryMuseum.org. McKinney is fun. I actually got to meet Johnny one time.
Did you?
I was speaking at an event and got there a little early, and he was speaking as well. He's an incredible motivational speaker. Yeah. I mean, when you like go after, you're a football player your whole life, and you're like, no, I'm just a champion, and now I'm going to go try bobsledding and go do that like to the 20th degree, right?
Crazy.
So, all right, moving ahead, here is some of the fun things that, one of the people's funnest parts of the podcast, questions from the backseat.
Are we there yet? Hey, can you pass me the snacks? When are we gonna stop? I gotta go.
All right, this one comes from Kate O'Brien. Chet, have you ever been to the world's largest bat colony? And
the world's largest bat colony
is...
I don't think we have been to that one because...
No, we haven't. We haven't. We've seen bats a few times.
We've seen probably the top 5 minus this or something.
Yeah. You know where it is?
I'm trying to think.
Okay,
I can't remember.
Bracken Cave.
Bracken,
It's outside of San Antonio. It's very close to like Natural Bridge Caverns, Canyon Lake. It is a colony of Mexican free-tail bats. Now, no one's ever officially like counted them, but it is somewhere between 15 and 20 million bats. They come in to have their young. They migrate here to Texas. They're here between March and October. And so July and August are like prime time. If you want to watch 15 to 20 million bats fly out of a cave at sunset, this is where you do it. It's like one of the coolest things. Wow. I've never seen this cave, but we've seen other ones. Old Tunnel State Park.
Exactly.
I mean, the Congress Bridge in Austin. But this one's like the mothership.
Sure.
This is it. And they estimate that these bats, they only eat moths, earworm moths, that are up in the top of the atmosphere. And every night, they eat over 100 tons of moths. Every night.
What?
Yeah, no.
I thought they ate mosquitoes and stuff.
Yeah, I was always like, bats are awesome. They eat mosquitoes, and I hate mosquitoes. No, that's a lie. I think there's some bats that do, but not these Mexican free-tail bats.
Wow.
If we could change their diet to mosquitoes, I'd be all about that.
We need to have a conversation with them.
How much does a moth weigh? Like nothing. Like you could put one on a scale, it probably wouldn't even register, right?
I wouldn't think so.
So how many moths does it take to get to 100 million tons? No, 100 tons, not 100 million tons. That'd be a lot.
100 million tons. It takes a lot, Chet.
Yeah. So y'all can go watch these bats. They sell tickets. Go online. You can find it. I can only imagine. It's awesome.
I can only imagine the smell.
Oh, yeah. I don't think anyone goes into the cave. I've heard you get the seating area is pretty close, and they just whoosh, fly up over your head.
It is a cool thing to watch.
All right, this one comes from Janice Lamb Bradshaw. And we've talked about this before, but I thought it'd be a good time to talk about it again. What is the least crowded beach town in Texas?
Well, we can't tell you because then it would be more crowded.
More crowded. That's true.
But
I can tell you the least crowded beach in Texas.
That would be the most southern end of North Padre Island.
That would be right. That'd be right. So
because nobody's
Padre
there.
Island is the longest undeveloped barrier island in the world. Y'all go to Malachite Beach?
We like to go to Malachite Beach because that's the last beach you can go to that is actually actually they don't even do any. They don't like comb the beach there.
Yeah.
You got to be careful. There could be jellyfish all over it.
Sure.
But that's the habitable, like people come there.
Yeah.
Stay, do stuff. But beyond that, you're on your own.
You're on your own. And the beach goes on just forever.
Yeah.
And so if you want a part of beach that you look left and right and don't see a soul, that's North Padre Island.
Yep.
The Padre Island National Seashore, and it's amazing. Now it's part of Corpus Christi. That's the closest town. And Corpus Christi, you've got like the town, then you cross the bridge and you got like the beach side of the town. And I wouldn't say that's uncrowded.
No.
But like, I would say, okay, least crowded beach town? Surfside, maybe?
Town?
Matagorda? Jamaica Beach? Nah, Jamaica Beach is not. Jamaica Beach is pretty crowded.
You're not going to see a lot of people on the beach itself.
It depends on what you're looking for, Janice. You either want a beach without people in it, or you want a sleepy beach town.
Right.
I'd say sleepy beach town. Like Rockport's good, and it's technically on the bay, but you've got it feels like a beach town, but it's not like overrun with people.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I'd say.
Well, I mean, and then also you got to look at, do you want a beach that has sand or just like rocks? Because do you want to get in the water?
Yeah, that's true too. Maybe she just wants to go around and souvenir shop at uncrowded souvenir shops.
Yeah.
Who knows? All right, this is also on the beach vein. Kay Ellis, where can you find the best seashells on the Texas coast? Seashells.
Well, we went to one place and they didn't have what we expected. Yeah, but actually, when we were on North Padre, at a certain mark, it was nothing but shells.
Yeah, Big Shell Beach. It is just the whole beach is made up of shells. Now, they're not really in good shape. They've been driven over and they're kind of like, the water and the waves have kind of broken them up.
But it's almost like imagine there's no sand and just shells.
Just shells. Yeah, exactly.
That's what it felt like.
It was wild. So what place gets the most cred as the best seashelling, the shelling of Texas, is San Jose Island. And this is St. Joe's. You got to take it's uninhabited. You got to take a ferry there, but you go to Port Aransas, take a little ferry jump, go across the channel, and then you hike down the beach. And if you get on the first ferry early in the morning, you get to pick all the shells that have washed up overnight. And you walk down the beach as long as you want. I think it's 21-mile long island. So go for it.
It's very cool.
21 miles, get it. Or you can bring a bike over. You know, now they're making those bikes with the fat tires.
Oh, yeah.
And those actually do really well on the beach. And so cruise down the beach.
That'd be cool.
Knock yourself out. Go find some shells.
We probably didn't go far enough.
No, we didn't.
I mean, because we just stayed right there.
Yeah, we were pulling a wagon with camera gear.
Nah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So, guys, if y'all have questions, we love answering them. Send us a comment. Leave a comment on this podcast or whatever. Send podcast at thedaytripper.com, contact at thedaytripper.com. Send me a DM. I love your questions, and I love answering them. All right. Next up, this is fun because these people didn't ask questions. They just thought they needed to tell us something.
Hey, Daytripper, I got a bone to pick with you. Oh my goodness, it's the Daytripper. We love your show.
All right, this comes from Greg Wu. He must have just watched our burger episode. And so he came in.
Wait, which episode?
The burger road trip.
Burger. Oh,
Texas
I
burger
didn't know
road
if you
trip.
meant Borger.
Oh, Borger. The burger.
Because we did.
We did the burger.
but
No, burgers.
Texas burger road trip. Okay.
Greg says this, the sound girl is said it right. The most important thing on a hamburger is pickles, and the worst thing in the world is mushrooms. Ooh, gross. So here we go. What is the most important hamburger? Wait, sorry, let me rephrase that. What's the most important thing you can put on a burger, Daniel? Meat. Can't disagree with that.
Just saying, if it doesn't have meat, it's not a hamburger.
Probably not a burger. All right, let's assume the meat is there.
Okay.
And the bun. We're gonna go meat, bun. What else is most critical?
Okay, you have to have some sort of condiment that keeps it to where it's not overly dry.
Sure.
I mean, obviously, you could have meat that stands alone on its own, but you're not expecting that on a burger.
Yeah.
Not typically.
I've had those bougie burgers like, we don't need anything else, meat and bun.
Yeah.
And I was like, nah, this could use some mustard.
It needs something. So I would say either like a mayonnaise, mustard, even ketchup.
Oh.
And I'm not a huge ketchup person on burgers, but I think it's tolerable.
Okay.
Because sometimes they'll say, what do you want in your burger? Everything.
Yeah.
And then when I get it, I'm like, why'd you put pickles and onions? And why'd you do this? You know? And then I take it all apart. So
I mean, you got to have a condiment. Best burger condiment, probably mayonnaise.
I'm torn between mayonnaise and mustard.
Yeah. That's a tough one. Mustard. I mean, both. Mustard's critical. You got that punch.
Yeah.
Mayonnaise, and if you gave me meat, mayonnaise, mustard, bun, I'm happy.
Absolutely.
Or cheese and mustard. If it has cheese, I could probably cut the mayonnaise. But
cheese
like
helps. Yeah.
Pickles.
I don't like pickles.
I love pickles.
I hate pickles. First of all.
What?
I hate them.
I know you do.
So no, it does not have to be on there. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I hate them.
But mushrooms are legit. I love mushrooms.
I don't think mushrooms need to be on a burger, but I don't know why you can't have them on a burger.
Yeah.
It has a salty flavor to it. Some people can't get over the texture of a mushroom.
Yeah, I just love mushrooms.
But I also like oysters.
Mushrooms last night.
Did you really?
Yeah. Nice. Loved them. Okay. Well, Greg, this is something the world will fight till the end of time.
I'm sure.
But pickles, I mean, I can get behind pickles being maybe most important. Not more important than the condiments, though.
Yeah, no.
All right. So here's two people that were very angry. If you remember last podcast, we did a top 5. Like, here's 5 things to do in the summer.
Yep.
These guys absolutely disagree.
Wrong.
Wrong. But I think they just hate both Texas and life.
Oh, so okay.
Rough_spirits. Jacob's Well is closed for the foreseeable future. Barton Springs is overcrowded all the time. Most of your creeks are low to drive by the end of June. The coastline sucks. The water is always, quote, unsafe anywhere that looks appealing. Movies can be okay if you have the pocketbook for it. Most of the Central Texas cave systems are open only for limited times now. Not to drag your list down, but it's not very time or money conducive. Like, what?
This guy is not a people person. I can tell just by listening.
So most of the creeks are not low to dry. You can find some. The coastline? Come on now. Texas coastline's amazing. And Catie should start to date rough spirits. This is Catie did.
Oh, no.
You couldn't drag me to a Texas beach. I would never go to another watering hole. My son got ill after the first one, went to the hospital for 5 days. That's unfortunate. I went to a cave. It was boring. The theater you mentioned smells like mildew and stale wood. It was the Paramount. We mentioned the Paramount Theater in Austin. I mean, come on. If I'm going on vacation, I'm going to do something out of state. I just live here. I don't vacation here.
Yeah,
Catie
and she's not from here.
No, these two need to get married, and they can just be grumpy.
And they can just move back to Oklahoma where they came from and make Oklahoma babies.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I couldn't believe how angry people were. And the fact that, like, they think the coastline is bad, that just means you haven't seen the coastline.
You haven't seen much of it.
You haven't seen
because
much.
There's places on the Texas coast that are not as conducive to, like, jumping in to the water. Usually, like, when I go to parts of Galveston, I'm like, oh, they don't even, it has a wall. You're not supposed to go get in the water in this section. But then you travel a little bit, north or south, and you're like, oh, but this is nicer and this is nicer.
Yeah.
So
go down to South Padre and tell me that water's not clear. You can't do it.
South Padre is North Mexico.
Yeah.
Like, they're right next to each other.
Right.
So if you say, oh, I go to Mexico because the beaches are amazing, guess what? South Padre looks the same.
Dude, it does. It does. All right, so they're grumpy. I love the feedback, though. They hate everything in life. I don't think I could have said anything that would have been like, oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
Yeah, eat a cheeseburger. I hate cheeseburgers. I had one once and I got food poisoning. Okay. All right, here we go. This comes from our friend Kyle Jones in Bryan. He says this: my wife surprised me with a trip to Galveston next week for our anniversary, and we're staying at the haunted Galvez.
Ooh.
Hotel Galvez. She got me the famous room 501. That's the one that's supposed to be super haunted. I'll text you if we survive. Super excited, but kind of freaked out. So I was like, well, I knew Hotel Galvez was haunted, but I didn't know how haunted, so I looked this up. Let's get you a couple facts. Hotel Galvez was built in June of 1911. It has 226 rooms. All the famous people stayed there in the heyday. Frank Sinatra, Jimmy Stewart, President Roosevelt, President Johnson stayed there. I mean, it was like the who's who of, well, people call it like the Las Vegas of the coast of its time.
Okay.
It kind of had a comeback in the early 1900s, 1920s. Now, get to room 501. This is the one that is supposedly inhabited by the lovelorn lady. Now, this was a young bride-to-be. Her future husband was a mariner, so he spent long periods of time out at sea. While he was out at sea, she would often rent room 501 in Hotel Galvez because it got her easy access to a ladder where she could climb up on the tiled roof and wait for her lover to come back in. Well, one day she received word that the ship he was on had capsized and, quote, all hands were lost. She was so distraught that she hung herself in one of the turrets at Hotel Galvez. Well, a few days later, guess what happens? Her groom, who survived, shows back up at the shore, only to find that his to-be bride was now interred in the ground and buried. Wow. So she, because of the great tragedy she suffered, is trapped in Hotel Galvez, specifically room 501 surrounding area, in the turret sometimes. And people see her as the lady in white, roaming the halls. They feel cold swells. They see lights on in various places that have no electricity. So spooky stuff.
Yikes.
And this guy intentionally booked room 501.
Intentionally. Kyle, what are you thinking, man?
If I'm going to do the ghosty thing, I think I would try to get that room. Now, if I'm just trying to stay there for the history and the nostalgia, give me any room. But if I'm like trying to do the,
I want to see this ghost.
I pee my pants a little bit, which is fun. So like, sometimes it's fun. You know me, I've stayed at haunted places by myself.
Yeah, I know.
So like,
here we go.
Would I do it with my family? Well, I wouldn't want to be in that
You've
room
already
alone.
tried that with your family.
I know that didn't go well with the Minger. But I wouldn't want to stay there alone. I think if I had my wife with me, then like two partners, like buddy system, we could be okay.
I think I would do it.
But that seems like that would upset the ghost even more to see like a happily married couple Like, oh.
Well, then you're more guaranteed you're going to see a ghost.
That's true, I guess. Is that the point?
That's the point.
We're like Ghostbusters trying to pull this thing out?
Go there and like telling yourself we don't believe in ghosts, and then watch what happens.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I don't believe you, lovelorn lady. And then, okay. She comes out of the drapery, like bloody eyes,
Oh my gosh. This sounds like room 1408.
Where's that?
You haven't heard that? It's a movie.
Oh, okay.
The movie.
No, I hadn't heard
Okay.
it.
The John Cusack movie.
Okay, don't know it. I mean, they're all kind of the same, huh?
Yeah, pretty much.
And then Driscoll has the same story of like a bride that, was scorned on her wedding or caught her husband or future husband cheating, hung herself.
These things always happen at hotels.
I know. Spooky stuff, man. So anyway, Kyle, let us know if you survive, and we'll keep everybody updated.
Yeah, take some pictures. I want to see.
Oh,
take some pictures of ghosts. That's all I want to see.
You know what we still haven't ever done is go back and look through the Seguin footage and the pictures to see if we caught anything like that. We edited it and then delivered it. We never went back and like really analyzed it too much.
Maybe take the volume and crank it up.
No, I know.
Blast.
Hear the things. Yeah.
You hear that loud, just like Sixth Sense.
Oh,
yeah.
Help me. Yeah, we're never doing that. We won't do it. All right, guys. Hey, thank you all for listening to the podcast. Shout out to Don Hewlett Chevrolet and Colin County History Museum for supporting us, making this possible. Y'all go and support both of those. Thank you so much to our Mixmaster producer, Alex Fort, over here. We've been asking him questions. We need to get that man a mic. Anyway, remember, like, subscribe, comment, all the things that help our podcast grow. Until next time, we'll see y'all soon. Say your goodbyes, Daniel.
See ya.
And vaya con Dios, amigos.